Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the sixth day in the ninth month of the year 2020, the best month on the calendar, as stated from day one, from September 1st. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome yet to another live financial planning, of course, subheading generational wealth. And as promised, this morning I have a guest for you today, but we're having some technical difficulties. So he's working out on his end to join me on the live today. And of course, I want to welcome everyone on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. I now have a new YouTube channel for those of you who don't know. It's Shernet Clark on YouTube. Icon Sherns on Instagram, and I'll definitely put that in the message section for you. I want to welcome my VPN viewers. I want to welcome those of you who join me this and every Sunday, started from last year of October of 2019. I'll be celebrating a year next month, and of course, I want to do some giveaways during that period, especially for the persons who have been lagging on with me during that time. And I do want to thank you for taking the time on your busy schedule on a Sunday at 4 p.m. to join me and to listen to me. For those of you who are joining in for the first time, welcome to the family. And I'll encourage you to like and share, and also to invite your friends and family to watch the lives, so watch the videos, watch the replays, watch the YouTube channel, so that we can learn from the information and to just make some changes in our life. I need to run through my technical testing aspect, of course, to make sure that I am hearing clearly, or you are hearing me clearly. I'm seeing my guest coming on again. I'm going to do the testing first, and then I'll invite him to come. Let me just check. Are there anybody out there who can? All right, I think I'm hearing myself. So welcome again. I am going to be inviting my guests to come on shortly. So he's in the background waiting. And today we want to speak about Ronald. I am seeing you. I'm hearing you. I'm seeing you now. Welcome. And of course, we're going to be speaking today why insurance is important, and we're going to be, he's gone again, narrowing down definitely on some critical coverage insurance and how to qualify for. If you have questions, go ahead and ask your questions. But I saw the need last year when I started the lives for the first time. It was in almost the end of cancer awareness, which was in October, and I saw the need to inform and to educate the public, and also what was available in terms of insurance. Here we are again at another stage where Chadwick Boseman, at age 43, I'll be celebrating my 43rd birthday this month. And he started battling 4 years ago from colon cancer. And of course, for those of you who are aware of Denver Smith Feluke in the music industry here in Jamaica, percussionist and singer, he also died yesterday from colon cancer. Welcome again, Ronald. I hope you are on this time for good. I want to welcome you to my live, and on behalf of my viewers, you are actually muted, so I think you can hear me, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to hear you. Welcome.
And I'm hearing you.
I also want to big you up, sir, here publicly on Facebook on your recent appointment as unit manager at the big bad company, Sagicor, of course. So welcome. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Shernet, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. No, I was speaking to the audience earlier. Well, I've done in a couple of lives in terms of insurance and what is the importance of insurance. And we have exhausted that. I'm not even sure how deeper we can go today, but I appreciate and I welcome your wealth of knowledge this afternoon. And I will just play the devil's advocate today. Why insurance? Why is it important for young persons, middle age, and even persons up to age 80? Why insurance? Why is it important?
All right, great. That's a wonderful question that you're asking, Shernit. Now, what you find for me, as I often say to my clients, I sell nothing. I only come to sit and listen and hear person's circumstances, and then that is how we really understand what is beneficial for them. But I'll just give you some of the why. I see under your name generational wealth. That is one thing that I genuinely believe in. And I think oftentimes as Jamaicans and even as Black persons, we really don't, I don't know if we don't know the concept. I don't know if it's that we don't have an appreciation of it. But if I were to delve into generational wealth just a little bit, the idea about it is just really leaving something for the next generation. And even the Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. And the Bible is also saying the man that don't take care of his family is worse than an infidel, right? So I think even on a spiritual level, we really do have an onus to take care of the family. I think that maybe whether directly or indirectly, sometimes we have disregarded it. I don't believe in comparison, but sometimes comparison shows the facts. And if it is that we look at other generations, maybe the Jews being, the first to come to mind, the Chinese, the Indians, among many others, whether it is a business, property, or otherwise, they leave something for the next generation. I think almost everyone here, I can almost say for certainty, and I don't even know who is in the audience to say, you know what, we struggle come up to try and find our way. And more than likely, it's the same thing for our children. They will struggle and come up to try and find their way, right? So generational wealth is really about leaving the generation with something of material value so that they are in a better position just to go through this world and to pass on that to the next generation. Because the reality is, Shernit, it's not monetary things that is the best thing you can leave in a child, right? The morals, the values, the person of the child, that's the best thing that you can leave in a child, morals and values. But the reality is, Shernit, if you've left morals and values in your children, the next best thing for you is to leave them with some money. It's as simple as that, right? Many of our children have wise ideas, but they don't have any money to action it. And even as a business owner, I can say for a fact, I was very startled. You go to the bank initially and realize you don't really get much startup. You have to show some worth first. So, it is so hard unless our parents have put the way forward for us. So that is one way. Just to highlight them in a shorter way now, it can be used for your insurance. By your insurance, I mean for your mortgage, because what happens is that once you get a mortgage, you will need collateral, right? And your life insurance is the simplest and cheapest form of collateral. So for example, if you're going for 20 million, I'll give you a real life example then. The client I sat with on Thursday is going for $18 million property, right? And he's almost finished and he never knew anything about the concept of insurance. So the creditor life is already a part of his mortgage and he didn't even know the difference. The difference between what the banks offer you for mortgage and what we would offer you is that the banks will only pay what you have left on the loan, whereas we pay the face amount. So for example, for the $18 million house, suppose when he passed, he owes 10 million. The bank will pay 10. However, we would have paid 18. So in other words, for the same cost, you can rob your family millions of dollars just for a simple, and you can't even blame most persons because that's not a traditional information that is passed around, right? And as I said, there's so many different reasons, and there's another portion of insurance that most persons don't even know about. If it is that you're paying for life insurance for many, many years, and let's say when you started, your children were young, just in case anything happened to me, I want to ensure the family is okay. If you have insurance for many, many years and you're at retirement, your life insurance policy actually has cash value, which is generally in the millions, that you can take at that time and use it to aid you in retirement. But the reality is, to cut it all in a nutshell, you know, no matter what our religious background is, we can all acknowledge that money doesn't bring happiness, but it
Right.
can make life a little bit easier. And if we've known the struggle ourselves, what we're saying is, as we say we love our children, we have to understand that to love someone is to want the best for them.
Right.
So unfortunate to say, it's hard to say I love you, but if I die, I've not protected you. So really and truly, it is a show of love to ensure that anyone who we love will fully be protected.
Peace of mind and safety net. And when we speak of generational wealth too, it is actually not just telling your children, but showing them, because it's not just about leaving, but in terms of the how you plan your financial portfolio and the structure, you're showing your children that this is how it should be done. We have had persons who came into insurance because of the experience that they had. A parent died and left a policy, and they were able to finish university. The other surviving parent was able to pay off for a house, and that let them and allow them to see the value of a contract, an insurance contract, in terms of, you know, someone leaving that capital, that generational wealth, so that family could survive after a parent or a spouse died. Now, next month is cancer awareness, and at this point in time, I want to just big up persons on VPN. We have 9 persons on VPN, and I want to big up Tanisha Edwards, Nathaniel Clark, Nashalee Mondo, and Melanie Higgins, my aunt in New York. Guys, as usual, I want you to like and share. It also will be uploaded on YouTube and some aspect on Instagram, but go ahead and like and share on your page. Start a watch party. This is information and information that we want you to take action. Ronald, one of the experiences that I've had, and I started it live in October of last year, and I've had persons who have survived cancer as a result of purchasing critical illness coverage. And I heard you spoke about this, and I learned so much from you about critical illness coverage. I know what it's for, but I didn't look at it if I'm not diagnosed in terms of retirement. I wanted to explore on the idea of critical illness. I was researching, and the cancers that are there's a 93% recovery rate, especially one, namely, is lymphoma of the stomach, and treatment for that cancer is 500,000 Jamaican dollars every 2 to 3 weeks. Not every year, every 2 to 3 weeks. And in some cases, you're required to do 11 treatments. That's the less aggressive cancer at a 93% recovery rate. 500,000 Jamaican dollars every 2 to 3 weeks based on the cost of treatment. Now, we are noticing that persons are dying from, and I believe that even at stage 4, that there is a way with treatment to prolong life. And normally at stage 4, there's a 3.5 months to 6 months period where you have to live, but persons have actually gone through chemotherapy or radiation, have extended their life up to even 10 years. So even if you think that you're going to die, all of us are appointed to die, but what if you can prolong life with treatment or even changing your diet? So let's talk about the critical illness coverage. Me not have no cancer in my family. It's not hereditary. I may eat right, I may exercise. And I've heard of those stories, and that person have lost 1 breast already due to breast cancer. Let's talk.
All right. The first thing I would say, Sharonette, is that critical illness don't have any respect of persons. So yes, one would love to say, you know, if it's not hereditary, if, you know, I live a healthy lifestyle, and that means, you know, I can't contract cancer, for example. And we've had too many examples to realize that it's not true, right? No, if you realize in life, it's always best to be on the safer side. So the safer side would be, I have prepared for this, but I don't expect to get it because I do live a healthy life. You
Right.
understand? And it maybe get even worse if you realize that this actually does run in your family, or maybe your lifestyle isn't the best. In those situations, you might want to be just a little bit keener in how you handle that particular situation. Now, the reality is that in life, we have something called risk. And what risk really means is that we can lose out, and we can potentially lose out big,
Big.
right? Now, the reality is someone has to pay for risk. All right. So the idea is there's a risk that you could be critically ill. So you have a decision to make. Do I want to bear the burden of this risk if I become critically ill, or do I want to pass this burden over to an institution? So the question is, do I want a small sacrifice for a great benefit, or do I want no sacrifice to a great detriment? That's a decision that we have to make. And I'm not here to tell you which is right. All I'm saying is whatever decision you've made, be comfortable in your decision. You understand? So if you said, no, I can do without, and then the doctor said, boy, you have cancer and you have to be spending millions of dollars, as long as you're not complaining, boy, I should have, and you've actually accepted that this is the choice you made, I have no problem with that. Right? But the latter might be the easier way. But let's go through the process. So the
Yes.
process is very simple, and specifically to what you asked, Sagicor has a wonderful, wonderful product in that we are saying if you contract a critical illness, we're going to pay out to you in the millions one time. It's actually within 48 hours that we generally make that claim. So
Yes.
once you submit all of those medical records, we're willing to pay out to you within 48 hours. And that is to ensure that you can meet and handle your medical expenses. Now, what is so wonderful about the plan, Shernet, is that if it is that you don't contract a critical illness, Sagicor is saying in retirement, we'll refund you all of the premiums paid.
100%.
Right? Now, what I love about that is that how I genuinely believe is that money is going to be spent anyways. And what determines where best money goes is dependent on what happens in life. So, for example, if a member of the family dies early, then the best place for their money would have been if all of it went to life insurance. If someone retires, then it would have been better if all of their money went to their retirement. If someone got a critical illness, it would have better if all of their money went to a critical illness plan. We
Right.
don't know which of the ifs in life might be coming to us and which comes first. As such, we just have to, deal with them all basically. All right, great. So as we said, if nothing happens, we're going to give you a full refund at retirement. And you know how retirement is, we're no longer working. So therefore, at that point in time, it's only the things that we've prepared for ourselves that we will have. All right.
What I'd like to interject as retirement also, people think of retirement no longer working. Could be a disability that sends you into retirement too.
Yeah. And even as you talk about it, all retirement really is a loss of income,
Loss
because
of
you're no
income.
longer working at that time. But persons don't consider the fact that when you get a critical illness, you might have a loss of income.
Exactly.
You might not be in a position to work at that time. Now, the funny thing is that is really like, as I say, you're between a rock and a hard stone. So one is you have, as you say, every 3 weeks I have to find this $500,000. But then at the same time, I'm not in the capacity to work. So a part of what we actually have to consider for critical illness coverage is that we should have sufficient coverage that can also not only handle medical expenses, but can cover our income for 2 years. Because even if you're privileged enough to go to work, I'm saying if you just kick cancer, wouldn't you want to rest your body a little bit? Because chemotherapy is not a simple thing, Shernet. We just call the name $500,000, but chemotherapy is really tearing down the body, hoping to catch the right cells that they really want to tear down. If we were to put it in layman's terms.
In terms of hair loss, you may lose an organ and may want to, probably add on.
It's legitimately tearing down the body, hoping that it catch the right culprit. Right?
Yes.
With that being said, what we're saying is that even if your organization say, yeah, man, come, we'll give you lighter work, however they try to help you, we're saying you want to be in a position to say, hey, I thank you, but I'll stay at home for 6 months, knowing that you have sufficient income to meet your expenses. Because guess what's going to happen? If you don't, then you have to run back to work the next day and be under all of that stress, all of that pressure when your body really and truly is not in that position.
And when you speak about stress, I did mention before that people are saying it's not hereditary or I eat right and exercise. Stress is another factor of releasing cancer cells.
Mm-hmm.
Stress is another. So you are adding on to what you have gone through. Sometimes people say come back more aggressive because the body was not strong enough to fight.
Yeah.
You went back in too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
you
so
can
so, so the
continue.
reality is the reality is, Sharon, it legitimately speaking, because I like to speak about circumstances so we can bring this thing to life.
Yes.
Legitimately speaking, it can save your life. And then the
Yes.
funny thing is, even if you had other resources and you could get through it without a specific critical illness coverage, you may be dampening into your retirement fund to ensure that you can
Yes.
save your life. You may be
Yes.
dampening into your child's education fund to ensure you can save your life. You may dampening into your business to ensure that you can save your life. So I'm saying if your life is saved, that is absolutely wonderful. I don't want it to be at the cost of your child's education. I don't want it to be at the cost of your retirement. I don't want it to be at the cost of the expansion or or your business being sustained.
Yes, wonderfully put, Ronald. And when you speak about it, actually picturing it, because it is a reality that happens to us. Because I've heard of the scenario where a person says, "But I have my savings account," and I'm saying, "How much do you have in your savings?" Because let's say you're saving $5,000 and at 6 months, 6 5 is what, $30,000. But what if you're diagnosed within 6 months of saving? That
Mm-hmm.
$30,000 maybe
Mm-hmm.
can take you to the doctor in terms of the visit, in terms of getting your test, but in terms of starting treatment and looking forward to getting well, that $30,000 cannot take you anywhere. But if you contribute that same $5,000 to a critical illness coverage plan that may, based on your age and gender, can give you a 5 or 8 million coverage. And 6 months, if you're diagnosed within 6 months, that's the amount that is payable to you, not $30,000, but $5 or 8 million, again, based on age and gender. And we
Yes.
have another one that covers up to 35 million. So, which would you prefer? You taking on the risk or putting on the risk to that the insurance company to deal with that risk?
Yeah. And the reality why it works out so much for you, Shernet, is that if we were to dive into really and truly some of the underpinnings or the rudimentaries of how life insurance works, when it is that I teach class, for example, one principle that I tell them about simply states that it's unequal values. What it simply means is
I
that the
love
life
that.
insurance company can pay out a large lump sum even though you've only paid a small amount of premiums. One
Even
of my
one.
best examples is a client that would have paid under $100,000 and he would have received over 13 million, right? I have another example where the client, with this one is life insurance, was actually for her father, but the father died 1 year after her
Yes,
starting the plan. And when she came for the claim, she was so surprised because she thinks somebody would have probably give her attitude or some level of resistance because she just started this thing, she's not paying a
right.
lot of money. And it was a surprise to us all because her father was in relatively good health, right? And I'm saying that's what it's about. And for the insurance company, what we're really doing is just doing what I would call a good. What we're really doing is compiling the funds of everyone, and we're saying for this group, anyone who is disadvantaged, we will help them. You understand? It's like you and I putting down $1,000 a month, and we say, you know what? Any one of our children need to go to university, from that $1,000 a month, we're going to ensure they go there. Or any one of us
Right.
die, we're going to ensure we can bury them. Or any of us get critically ill, we're going to ensure you can meet your medical expenses. So all life insurance really does is to pool the savings, investments of everyone and ensure that any member of the family is disadvantaged, we're in a position to help them.
I love that, Mr. McLeod. Again, I want to welcome those who are just joining in. Kevin Tyndale, big up yourself from Gabby Street, but now living in the United States. He said, great information, keep up the good work. Tanisha Edwards is asking, what if a person had, hearing a little distortion, what if a person had critical illness episode, I guess, already diagnosed, and are you now barred from getting it? That is always, I remember I got that question a couple years ago from someone who I had encouraged to get critical illness. But Ronald, I'm going to allow you to respond to that one.
All right, fair enough. What I would say is the best thing for that person to do is speak specifically to a financial advisor, because it depends on what happens and the extent to which it had happened, right? That is what's going to determine if it is that you can still get a critical illness plan. So that is
Well,
something
what they're
specific
saying,
to the person. Go ahead.
they were already diagnosed. So
But with
let's
what?
say I was diagnosed with cancer. Is there
what happens though is that generally whatever you were diagnosed with before, even if we can continue, will be excluded moving forward. But if you've recovered from cancer, if you've recovered from cancer and you're doing well, you can come and through, let's say, good medical standings, you could get a plan that has a multitude of critical illnesses, just that they may exclude cancer. Yeah.
Right. And we're speaking to the policies here in Jamaica. In terms of overseas, then you guys would have to speak to that insurance company and to be more specific to those plans. So, although Ronald, we have been teaching a couple of the US courses, so you probably can speak on those too.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, guys, what we're saying is don't wait until diagnosis where we have those questions. And Tanisha, I'd love for you to speak to me privately regarding that so we can explore whether it is you or someone that you know position to see whether or not they qualify, what else they qualify for.
And you know what's a funny thing though, Shirley? You know what's a funny thing though? There is, because for some person, sometimes it's the synergy of making the payment.
Yes.
But what I do realize is that, that there's no issue in making the payment. What the real issue is that culturally, we might not know how to structure our money. You understand?
Right.
So it depends on your background. For example, if you come from a Christian background and your parents, tithe and they taught you to tithe, no matter how much money you make, you won't have no problem tithing, yes, for example, right? So if you come from a background where you understood that before you go build a skyscraper, you have to work on your foundation. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because if you think about it logically, if you're going anywhere and you're going anywhere fast, you have to first protect yourself against anything that is threatening to tear you down. It's as simple as that. Critical illness is a threat. Your death is a threat, among many other things. Moving fast and then having not much left in retirement is a threat. And we're saying, don't fool yourself. Before you go on the rapid journey, secure the base. Having secured the base to anything else you want to do in life. You want to be a lawyer, actor, dancer, singer, stay-at-home mom. Anything that you love doing, do it. Just ensure that your base is secured. And just one more story, because I often like the stories. And the funny thing is, they're real life. I often envision, for example, a wife. Let's say a stay-at-home mom, now that I said that. Let's say the husband loves the family, takes care of his wife, takes care of his kids. But let's say he were to die, unfortunately. Let's say it's a car accident. And he's left this family without income. Do you understand? I'm sure that you're a woman. Maybe you can help me, because maybe I'm biased. And I'm saying, in my mind, I always imagine this young lady finding it hard to speak about how wonderful her husband is. Because when she's there under the stress of trying to figure out how to bury him and how she went to take care of these kids on her own, and how the house gonna be paid for, and all of these things, you did not give her the privilege to be comfortable and to sit with her friends and just speak about what a good man you were. And then the worst part about it, as I said, Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, because I realize our political leaders saying things about women and they're going way off. So correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I also envision.
You want to start speaking tongues,
right? you want. What I've also envisioned is that for this young lady as well, I believe her husband, who unfortunately died, is asking her to find another man. And the reality why I say that is that women generally make ends meet. I don't know what is in the DNA, but women We make sure so them picnic go to school and food is on the table. And I am saying, unfortunate to say, even Sharonette, if you had a good discernment of people and you would have gotten a good man like the one you married, when a young guy comes and him willing to pay like a school fee here, put like a food on the table, you realize some weird things in his character, you know. But how are you going to say no when he's providing the support that you need? And I'm saying this could result in your children even being abused. However, if on the other side sufficient money was left with you, not only can you grieve your husband, talk about the good man that he was, do understand that if you find a man after that, it must be a good man, because you never needed him for anything. It's because you chose to speak to him.
Think about it. Even the single mothers, gonna think about it. Think about someone who has to, you know, take care of the children on is the same position that you would be in. And women never see the need for insurance sometimes until they become widows or widowers. They never normally see the need for it, because the money that you are spending now, guys, in terms of everything that he earns to buy food and clothes and shoes and on Facebook and posting, and there's nothing in place. What if that man should pass on, which is the main breadwinner? How are you and the children going to survive? And that is how we create the generational wealth and capital that we say is for the family. We don't want anybody to die. We don't want our husband and our fathers to die. But what if it is appointed unto all of us to die? We don't know when, and we don't have control over it. What we have control over is creating that wealth that is going to make sure that the basic necessities are taken care of. We never ask for no luxury, Ronald. Just the basic necessities from the main breadwinner. It could be a female too. The basic necessities. Now, I wanted to touch a little bit on before we close. So we're gone 31 minutes. I wanted to touch on something else before I go, and it actually slipped me. But oh yes, GoFundMe. I've never seen anything. I appreciate what it stands for, but I've never. That thing annoys me so much, because the people that some people are not able to help themselves because they don't have the information. But the people who have the information, who have been earning for years, have to be on this platform begging for money, or families doing it on their behalf because nothing was put in place. What that does, guys, if I decide that I'm not going to contribute and the world decides that they're not going to contribute, your treatment is delayed. If you don't have the money to deal with your treatment and your chemotherapy and whatever it is that you decide, it is dependent on those persons. Why not put the fight in your pocket and decide that you are going to contribute little or whatever it is to a critical illness coverage so you can deal with your treatment? I don't know what you think about that, Ronald.
All right. My question to you, Sharonette, right? Because from what I know of even marriage counseling, is that they're supposed to ask all the questions. Because sometimes we like to go into things not asking all the questions, because we assume, what if he cheats? What if she cheats? You understand what I'm saying?
What we talk about.
What if he loses his job? What if you lose your job? Now, the reality about life is life has so many...
That never came up in mind. That never came up in mind.
It should have, though, right? But the reality about life is life has a lot of variances. We call them ifs. There are many situations and circumstances that could impact us in life. I think the problem is we don't ask ourselves these ifs. That is the real problem. And then that is why an insurance or financial advisor is so important, because they were trained to ask the ifs. There is no way that death is not, because death is 100% surety, you know, we just don't know when it will happen. There's no way that I could be playing a game that has 100% surety that something will happen and I don't protect myself against something that is 100% surety. You have surge protector on your fridge, Sharonette?
Yes.
Because what? Light can go at any time. Why did you put a surge protector on your fridge? You've run that if statement. If it is that I'm just here normal, everything going good, a perfect day, sun is shining, but JPS decides to take the light, then I am not going to lose a fridge. So I am saying in this life, not just for the critical, not just for the life insurance, I mean in general, down to your surge protector, ask yourself the if statements. You understand? Because, for example, something that has changed, we've often said that children is no longer old age pension.
Right.
Suppose you never run that if statement. You love, care for, raised your kids, etc., etc. But you have it in the back of your head, them going to help you. You understand what I'm trying to say? No, you're in retirement, and every second you ring down them phone to no avail. You understand? And then, for me, Shernette, I've often asked my clients, you know, if push come to shove, would they want charity to be an option? And they generally say no. No, I believe in humility, so nothing is above me, Shernette. But if I can do without begging, by all means, I will do without it.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. Aldine Simmons Thorpe just joining in. Welcome, guys. The videos are available on my page after the live, and I really enjoyed this session today. Ronald, you have to come back on. I'm so sorry. I'm going to steal another Sunday. I know it was difficult for you to come on because your responsibilities have gotten even huger. You're a hard worker, you're dedicated, and you deserve your new appointment, sir. I want to thank you once again. I'll see you tomorrow at work, but I want to thank you once again. We can't hug. I forgot to touch the fist, the elbow. But I really appreciate your presence today and your wealth of knowledge and your enthusiasm. And that's my reason for bringing you on here.
The funny thing, we're not sharing it. And this one is probably really a charge for you. You will have to ensure that you expand the platform over time, because what you find is that what we really need in life is not money, among many other things. What we really need is the right mindset. Once we have the right mindset, then the other things in life that we need, the money, the relationship, the etc., will come, because we have the mindset to create it. Now, what you find is that our mindset in financial resources might just be one of the many other mindsets. There are mindsets for marriage, there are mindsets for raising children, there are mindsets for working, there are mindsets for so many things in life. And I'm saying, when someone is coming and they're genuinely telling you a mindset that is true, that is right in a particular area in life, these are the things that we need more of, because we're easily distracted by other things that leave us with no future benefit. Because remember, you know, this is a programming. How many hours of TV do we consume on an annual basis? But yet this might be new information for some people. How much TV do we consume on an annual basis? But yet some of us don't know how to deal with our relationships. So these are the type of programming that we should be consuming. Not always, because this is not the funnest thing to do, to be honest, but a little balance helps.
Really floored and honored to have you on, sir. Again, Ronald, thank you for taking the time, and I'm sure that my viewers are going to be eating up on this one, because I normally check the views over the couple of weeks and months. And of course, it will be on YouTube, Ronald. So I'll share the link with you so you can share with your viewers. And guys, I want to thank you once again for coming on, jumping on every Sunday here at 4. I really appreciate your presence. Love you guys. And of course, I want to encourage you, as always, to observe the protocols, wash your hands, sanitize, and the social distancing. Build the immune system, guys, and just practice love. Just be patient with each other. And remember, all of us are suspects now, Ronald. So we need to take care of yourselves and your family, and just do the responsible thing, guys. So just avoid the social setting that is going to cause this thing to even spread more. And of course, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I intend to walk good. And guys, the information as usual is not just to come on here and to talk, but for you guys to take action. I must say to my overseas friends, if you have your siblings here and your parents here, of course, you can apply for insurance for them. We have the online platform and we can walk you through that process. The non-medical plans have increased, some up to 10 million, some up to 8 million. So guys, you need to get your insurance in place and your critical illness insurance in place. Ronald, thank you. Love you, boss. Enjoy the
All
rest of
right.
your afternoon. Stay safe and walk good, guys. Love you.
All right. Thank you.